Imagine waking up tomorrow with full command over everything. Every sentence you speak, every emotion you experience, every cent you spend, and every thought that enters your mind. Seems impossible, doesn't it? But more than 2 millennia ago, there lived a man who believed not only was this possible, he believed it was the only path to genuine freedom. His name was Epictetus, and he entered the world as a slave. Think about that. He had no control over his movements, no freedom of choice, no rights over his own body. He belonged to someone else. And yet this man uncovered a truth so powerful that it transformed him from someone physically bound into one of history's most respected thinkers on emotional and mental liberation. He famously said, "No one can harm you without your consent." At first, it might sound dismissive, especially if you're facing real challenges. But his meaning was clear. We can't always choose our circumstances, but we always have authority over how we respond. And in that response lies our strength. Today, most of us aren't physically enslaved, but many of us are held captive by our own unmanaged reactions, the words we blurt out, the emotional storms we surrender to, the financial decisions that haunt us, and the thoughts that spin endlessly in our heads. We say things we wish we could take back. We allow our moods to sabotage our day. We spend beyond our means, chasing fleeting comfort, and we let our minds run wild with anxiety and fear. But what if I told you the same wisdom that helped a Roman slave find liberation could do the same for you? What if those 4 areas you feel least in control, your speech, your feelings, your finances, and your thoughts, could become the very pillars of your strength? The Stoics understood something that the modern world has forgotten. Real wealth isn't about how much you have. It's about how much discipline you possess. Real strength doesn't come from dominating others, but from ruling over yourself. And real freedom isn't found in unlimited options. It's found in making the right decisions over and over again. Life constantly offers us moments to prove this. Someone cuts you off while driving. You get to master your reaction and your words. You're tempted to splurge on something you don't need. That's your test of financial control. Your mind starts spinning with worst-case scenarios. That's your chance to take your mental power back. The beauty of Stoic philosophy is that it doesn't demand flawlessness. Even Marcus Aurelius, the Emperor of Rome, wrote regularly about his own emotional challenges. He reminded himself every day, "You control your mind, not external things. Recognize this, and you'll find your strength." This isn't about becoming cold or detached. It's about being so firmly grounded in who you are that the chaos around you loses its power to shake you. When you master your speech, you speak with clarity, not impulse. When you master your emotions, you respond with choice, not reflex. When you master your finances, money becomes a source of peace, not stress. When you master your mind, you write your own thoughts, rather than being ruled by them. In the next few minutes, we'll dive deep into these 4 key areas of personal sovereignty. You'll learn time-tested wisdom that feels more relevant now than ever, and you'll walk away with tools you can start using today. But here's the truth. This only works if you commit. Each lesson builds on the last, so don't jump ahead or skim. Stay with me through every section, and this could reshape your entire life. If you're ready to reclaim your power, hit that like button. Tell me in the comments which of the 4 M's challenges you the most. And make sure to subscribe, because this journey toward personal mastery is just getting started. Send this to someone who needs it, because real power always begins from within. And type this below as your commitment. I am the master of my mouth, my mood, my money, and my mind. 1. Rule your words, the doorway to inner power. There's an old proverb that says, "The tongue may be small, but its impact is mighty." But here's the truth most people miss. The danger isn't just what your words can do to others. It's what they do to you. Every sentence you say either strengthens or weakens the person you're becoming. Seneca, one of Rome's most revered Stoics, spent years observing how language shaped power inside the Roman Senate. He witnessed reputations made and destroyed by single speeches. He saw bonds broken by reckless words and alliances sealed by intentional ones. But the biggest lesson didn't come from what he heard. It came from what he said. He once wrote, "Every new beginning stems from the end of something else." And nowhere is this more obvious than in our conversations. Every time you speak, you're closing the chapter on one version of yourself and writing the next. The question is, who are you becoming when you open your mouth? Think back to a time when anger took over and you said something you immediately regretted. You felt the sting of words fired too fast, words that left damage in their wake. Now imagine if you had paused. What if, instead of reacting, you responded with presence and precision? That's what the Stoics practiced. A simple but powerful habit, the pause. Before speaking, especially in emotional situations, they would stop and ask themselves 3 questions. Is it true? Is it useful? Is it kind? If the answer to any of these was no, they chose silence. But mastering your speech isn't just about avoiding harm. It's about actively doing good. When you offer a sincere compliment, you not only lift someone else, you train your mind to recognize beauty. When you speak encouragement, you're rewiring your thinking toward hope instead of fear. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Be like a rock on the shore, waves crash over it, but it remains unmoved." In a world filled with loud, reactive voices, your calm and thoughtful words can be that rock, steady, grounded, and reliable. Try this practice starting today. For the next 7 days, before speaking in a tense or emotional moment, take 3 deep breaths. On the first, ask, "What am I feeling?" On the second, ask, "What might the other person be feeling?" On the third, ask, "What words would serve everyone's highest good right now?" This simple ritual will instantly shift your conversations and your relationships. What's powerful about mastering your mouth is that it creates a ripple effect. People begin to treat you differently. They hear you more clearly. They trust you more deeply. They seek your opinion more frequently. That's not manipulation. It's the natural outcome of becoming someone worth listening to. And here's something even more profound. How you speak shapes how you treat yourself. Every time you follow through on a verbal promise, you reinforce trust in yourself. Every time you speak kindly about your own journey, you strengthen self-respect. Every time you refuse to gossip or complain, you conserve energy for what truly matters. Your words don't just express your thoughts, they form them. If you consistently speak with wisdom, gratitude, and purpose, your mind starts adopting those same patterns. You think how you speak. Your mouth is the bridge between your inner world and the outside world. When you master this bridge, you master the flow of energy between the two. Tomorrow, we'll explore how this same principle applies to your emotions. But for now, leave this declaration in the comments to ground the lesson. I speak with strength, not reaction. 2. Master your mood, the forecast within. Imagine waking up each day and someone else choosing the emotional climate inside your head. Maybe they dial up frustration or fog you over with sadness, or sprinkle in a little joy, but only when they feel like it. Sounds absurd, right? But this is how most people live. letting outside circumstances dictate their inner world. Here's what the Stoics realized thousands of years ago, and what changed everything for me. You are not at the mercy of your emotions. You are their source. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, spent years enduring the unthinkable inside Nazi concentration camps. Amid such horror, he made a discovery that echoed ancient Stoic truth. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose. In our choice lies our growth and our freedom. That gap, no matter how brief, is the most powerful tool you possess. Right now, as you listen, that space exists within you. It's present between every trigger and your reaction. In that flicker of a moment, you decide who you are. The Stoics called this mastery the discipline of desire, but it's not about pretending to want less. It's about learning to want the right things. It's about embracing what you already have, accepting what cannot be altered, and focusing only on what can. Once you understand this, your mood stops being a wild storm and starts becoming an instrument you can tune. Here's a truth that might surprise you. Your emotions are not facts. They are stories your brain tells based on how you interpret the world. Someone doesn't reply to your message. That's the event. Your mind adds the drama. They're ignoring me. They're upset with me. They don't care. But what if the story was different? They're busy. Their phone died. They're planning something thoughtful. Marcus Aurelius knew this mental habit well. He wrote, "You have control over your mind, not what happens around you. Understand this, and you'll discover real power." He began each day reminding himself that setbacks, frustrations, and difficult people were guaranteed. But instead of resisting them, he saw them as chances to practice his emotional control. Let's try something right now. Think of a recent situation that upset you. Now ask yourself, what narrative am I telling myself about this? What's another way to see it? Which version serves the best version of me? That's the secret. You've been the author of your emotional life the whole time. You just didn't realize you held the pen. But don't confuse this with denial or toxic positivity. This isn't about pretending you're fine when you're not. It's about choosing emotions that empower you rather than drain you. When you feel anger, don't suppress it or explode. Use it to fuel change. When you feel sadness, don't drown. Let it connect you with compassion. When fear rises, don't freeze. Treat it as an alert, not a verdict. The Stoics had a nighttime ritual called evening reflection. At day's end, they'd ask themselves, what emotions did I feel today? Which ones helped me? Which ones held me back? How can I improve tomorrow? You can try this tonight. You'll be surprised how quickly your awareness sharpens. Once you start practicing this kind of emotional intelligence, incredible things happen. You stop fearing your feelings because you know how to face them. You stop dodging difficult moments because you trust your inner response. You become the calm anchor in storms that would have shaken you before. And people notice. Here's the key insight. Every emotion is data, not direction. Anger signals something matters. Fear reminds you to be alert. Sadness reflects something meaningful is gone. But these feelings aren't meant to drive. They're meant to inform. You are the driver. So, how do you forecast your emotional weather more clearly? Start by recognizing that your emotional climate is under your command. You may not control the clouds outside, but inside you can decide whether it rains. Drop this in the comments to lock in today's lesson. I command my emotions. They do not command me. 3. Master your money, the instrument of liberation. If you want to know someone's values, don't listen to what they say. Look at how they handle money. More than just numbers in a bank account, money is condensed energy. It represents your time, your priorities, and your beliefs made visible. The way you manage your money determines whether you're living with intention or reacting to impulse, whether you're in control or quietly chained by unseen forces. Seneca, one of the wealthiest men in Rome, had this to say: "It's not the man who has too little, but the one who always wants more, who is truly poor." He wasn't just writing theory. Though rich beyond measure, he intentionally lived simply. He slept on bare floors and ate plain food, just to remind himself that luxury didn't own him. Here's the tough truth most people don't want to face. If you don't control how you spend money, you don't control your life. Every purchase is a decision. It either moves you toward freedom or deeper into dependence. There's no neutral. But here's the catch. Mastering your finances doesn't mean becoming stingy or joyless. It means aligning how you spend with what truly matters to you. It's about using money as a tool, not being used by it. When you spend to fill emotional voids, sadness, boredom, insecurity, money is using you. But when you invest in things that support your purpose or serve others, you are using money wisely. The Stoics had a concept called preferred indifference, meaning some things are nice to have, but don't define your worth or peace. Money fits perfectly here. It's better to have it than not, but it should never have you. Think about your last impulse buy, that gadget or outfit or item that's now gathering dust. What were you really purchasing in that moment? Was it the product or the feeling you hoped it would bring? Comfort, approval, distraction. Here's a transformative habit. Before making any non-essential purchase, pause and ask, what emotion am I trying to buy right now? If the answer is a feeling, try to generate it without spending anything. You'll often realize the item itself isn't what you need. But mastering money isn't just about saving or spending. It's about creating value. The Stoics believed your work should benefit the collective. When you focus on service, wealth naturally follows. Income becomes a result, not the aim. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself each morning, rise to do the work of a human being. He didn't see duty as a burden, but as a contribution. When you view your work as a chance to serve, you show up differently. You bring quality, you bring excellence. That attracts opportunity, trust, and yes, prosperity. Here's the shift that changed my financial life. I started tracking how I felt after spending, not just what I spent. I created 3 columns: what I bought, why I bought it, how I felt afterward. What I discovered was stunning. The things that left me fulfilled were always aligned with my core values: books, meaningful travel, tools that helped others. The regret? Almost always from emotional purchases. This one simple practice revealed more than any financial spreadsheet ever could. Money mastery also means understanding the difference between assets and liabilities, not just financially, but energetically. Every dollar should either preserve your ability to thrive or expand your ability to give. When you spend with this mindset, you stop draining wealth and start building it. But remember, the goal isn't to pile up cash. It's to buy back your time, to buy peace, to buy the freedom to make decisions based on purpose, not survival. You want enough to be generous, enough to take risks, enough to say no to things that don't align. So before your next transaction, ask yourself, is this purchase helping me live freely or trapping me in more need? Drop this in the comments to affirm your new standard. I spend with purpose, not pressure. 4. Master your mind, the command center of your life. Picture your mind as a garden. Every thought you allow in is a seed. Some will grow into peace, clarity, and strength. Others, left unchecked, will become weeds of fear, stress, and self-doubt. Right now, countless thoughts are fighting for space in your awareness. Memories from yesterday, worries about tomorrow, distractions pulling you in every direction. Most people live their entire lives as passengers in this mental chaos, unaware they're the ones holding the steering wheel. Epictetus once said, "Wealth is not having many possessions, but having few needs." But he wasn't just talking about physical clutter. He meant mental clutter too. True mental wealth comes when you no longer entertain every thought that knocks. When you choose your mental guests like you choose who enters your home. Think about it. You wouldn't let a stranger walk into your living room and start rearranging your furniture. Yet, every day, people let negative, useless, and anxious thoughts walk right into their minds and rearrange everything. A single thought, if you allow it to stay, can ruin an entire day. The Stoics had a practice for this. They called it prohairesis, the vigilant awareness of your own thinking. It wasn't about sitting cross-legged and meditating. It was more like being a bouncer at the door of your mind. You decide which thoughts are allowed in, which ones must leave, which deserve attention, and which deserve silence. Here's a powerful exercise. For the next 7 days, any time you catch yourself in a negative thought loop, ask, is this thought helping or harming me? Is it leading me closer to who I want to become, or further away? If it's not serving you, let it go. Then, intentionally, choose a thought that strengthens you. This isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's not toxic positivity. It's conscious mental leadership. Instead of thinking, this is a disaster and I'm powerless, you think, this is hard and I'll figure it out. Same situation, different mindset, different outcome. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The universe is change. Life is what our thoughts make it." As Emperor of Rome, he couldn't control wars, politics, or fate. But he could shape the inner world where all of those challenges landed, his thoughts. Your mind is always telling stories. Someone ignores you, and your mind says, they don't like me. Traffic builds up, and your mind says, this day is ruined. Your boss calls a meeting, and your mind jumps to, I'm in trouble. But here's your power. You can rewrite the story in real time. The Stoics called this the discipline of judgment, the ability to separate the facts from the emotional narrative. The fact, it's raining. The story, rain ruins everything. When you learn to master this distinction, you stop letting your emotional weather be controlled by external conditions. Try this right now. Think about something that's been stressing you. Now separate. What actually happened? What story am I telling about it? You'll be shocked how often the stress lives not in reality, but in the interpretation. Your mind is also a brilliant problem-solving machine, if you point it in the right direction. Instead of letting it spiral with worry, give it something useful to chew on. What's the best action I can take right now? How can I turn this into an opportunity? Remember, every thought is either building or weakening the person you are becoming. You are sculpting your identity, one belief at a time. So choose carefully, choose consciously, choose with strength. Drop this in the comments to claim control of your inner world. I am the architect of my mind. 5. The ripple effect. How personal mastery transforms every area of your life. Here's the extraordinary thing about mastering your mouth, mood, money, and mind. These aren't isolated skills. They're interconnected, like tuning a single string on an instrument that suddenly brings the whole chord into harmony. Improving one area naturally elevates the others. When you speak with clarity and purpose, people begin to seek your input, because your words carry weight. When you regulate your emotions, you become a grounding presence, someone others lean on in moments of chaos. When you take charge of your finances, you're no longer making desperate decisions. You're choosing from a place of freedom. And when you command your thoughts, you start spotting opportunities where others only see problems. But the real magic lives in how these four powers interact. Mastery in one creates momentum in the others. Let me tell you about someone named Sarah. She came to one of my workshops last year. A single mother, drowning in debt, snapping at her children, losing sleep to stress, and trapped in thought patterns that left her anxious and exhausted. 6 months later, I received a message from her, one I'll never forget. She had paid off her credit cards, launched a modest side business, transformed her relationship with her children by learning to respond with love instead of frustration. But more than anything, she wrote, "I feel like myself again, steady, clear, and capable." That's what happens when you stop trying to fix everything all at once and begin practicing mastery, one layer at a time. Psychologists call this an upward spiral, a chain reaction of small wins that compound into life-changing momentum. When you manage your words during a heated exchange, you build the same muscle that helps you manage your emotions. When you resist buying something unnecessary, you strengthen the same discipline that lets you resist anxious thought loops. Aristotle once said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. The Stoics took this further. They saw discipline in one domain as fuel for all others. Like compound interest, each day of practice doesn't just make that day better. It makes all future days easier. Think about yourself 6 months ago. What were you struggling with then? Now imagine who you could become 6 months from today if you applied even one of these principles consistently. The distance between who you are and who you could be is closer than you think. It's a bridge made of small daily decisions. But here's something critical. You don't need to master everything all at once. Trying to conquer all 4 M's overnight often leads to burnout and disappointment. Instead, choose the one that resonates with you the most today. Focus on that for the next 30 days. Let your growth in that area start a chain reaction in the others. The Stoics had a word for this: sympathia, the deep interconnection of all things. When you grow, everything you touch is affected. When you become more mindful in your speech, tension in your relationships fades. When you manage your emotions, your home becomes calmer, more peaceful. When you gain financial wisdom, you model strength and stability for your children. When you master your thinking, you stop being the source of stress and become the source of solutions. And maybe most profound of all, you begin to see obstacles differently, not as punishment, but as practice. Every awkward conversation becomes a moment to master your voice. Every emotional trigger becomes a test of your inner weather system. Every spending decision becomes a check-in with your values. Every anxious thought becomes a chance to rewrite the story. This is how everything changes. When you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "How can I grow through this?" If you're ready to turn every challenge into training ground, type this in the comments. Every obstacle is an opportunity to grow stronger. We began this journey with the story of Epictetus, a man born into chains, who discovered that the only real prison is the one inside. His freedom came not from changing his surroundings, but from mastering himself within them. You now have the same choice. You've seen how your mouth, mood, money, and mind are not separate, but interconnected supports for your growth. And here's what matters most. This isn't about perfection. It's about intention. Every time you pause before speaking, you're building verbal discipline. Every time you choose how to respond emotionally, you're strengthening emotional intelligence. Every time you spend with alignment, you're forging financial wisdom. Every time you challenge a limiting thought, you're reclaiming mental freedom. The ancient Stoics didn't have easy lives. They faced plagues, wars, betrayals, and loss. But they walked through those storms with clarity and resilience because they had built fortresses within. That same strength is available to you. Your transformation starts with a choice to take ownership of your inner world. Not because life will be fair, not because it will be easy, but because you deserve to live as a creator, not a captive. 6 months from now, will you be stuck in the same place? Or will you be someone wiser, calmer, and more in control? The choice is yours, and the time is now. Remember the words of Epictetus: "No one can harm you without your permission." Today, you revoke that permission. Today, you step from reaction to response, from noise to clarity, from bondage to sovereignty. The 4 pillars are in front of you. Your future self is depending on you. And somewhere beyond time, the Stoics are cheering you on. Take the first step. Start now. If this message spoke to your soul, hit that like button. Share it with someone who needs it. Leave your personal commitment in the comments and subscribe, because we're just getting started. Finish with this affirmation. Today, I choose mastery over mediocrity, intention over reaction, freedom over fear.